Why is it not upheld?
It was a law saying you had to give loans to communities that could not pay
invest
back.
in your communities. It's investing in your community.
They know if they do that,
it's investing in your
they're
communities.
not going to be able to snatch people's houses out from under them and cause them to go into poverty and become a slave to them.
But it was the thing you were talking about was investing in certain communities.
Well,
there was a large disparity communities.
The banks and the Federal Reserve, it's pretty much the same, and the Federal Reserve can change exchange rates. So
laying in bed,
doing that can pretty much determine the economy, whether it's inflation,
honestly,
how much people can actually
Have you ever
pay
looked at mortgage? Have you ever seen mortgage paperwork?
And also, it's a question of morality and ethics. Whether you give someone a mortgage that is like how many pages long that doesn't understand it. It's a question of moral and ethics whether you do that to a family who is uneducated because of the continual poverty in the system, or you don't.
I got that, but there were laws passed that forced the bank, because there were legislators that got elected to allow mortgages to be available to people who could not rightfully pay them back.
No. The thing is this goes beyond the mortgage. You're not talking specifically about mortgages. What you're talking is there's laws that basically banks have to spend a certain amount of money in all their communities.
That's correct.
Because the thing is they were they were basically shutting out certain communities.
Because those communities were high-risk loans.
No, it's just because they didn't want to serve them. It had nothing to do with...
Yeah, they served them with subprime mortgages, and those were the first ones to collapse.
Well, yeah, but why penalize somebody?
Because this is why... It wasn't they were penalized. They did not have the ability to pay off a full mortgage. They couldn't save the 10% down. They couldn't go through and do what was necessary to get a conventional mortgage.
It's also the banks fucking peddling those fucking jumbo loans and not telling you specific. Why do you think legalese? If you ever look at us, why do you think legalese is such small print? It's purposely to mislead people.
If the bank defaults because of these people that had bad loans by the Federal Reserve, why are we not blaming the bank along with the people who...
I'm not absolving.
I'm saying we should blame the legislators that forced the law into existence that required us to lend to unworthy individuals solely to balance the sheet of who should and shouldn't have a loan.
What makes the person unworthy is whether or not you can pay it. And if you say you're going to look, if I take a loan for a mortgage and I can't, and I don't have a job that will sustain that loan, how dare I believe that I can keep that house? How dare I believe that I can take that house and not pay it back?
You guys believe in accountability
on everyone.
Okay. How about corporate persons?
Okay, corporate persons.
Can corporate persons be accountable for the crimes they commit against us?
Like which crime in specific?
Specifically, yeah.
Poisoning our seas, poisoning our air, poisoning our water.
What crime do you want to go after?
Lying us into a war. The corporate media.
How did the corporate media
lies? Corporate media lies to us all the time. Are they held accountable for deceiving? Hey, listen. The American government is based on an informed electorate. If you guys aren't informing the electorate,
65 million.
Wait, I got a question for you.
Because knowledge is power.
Wait, I got a question for you. If there was a corporate media,
you guys don't want an informed electorate.
But see, the worst
one question, no. First, I want one question, just a discussion point. If there was corporate media controlled everything that we saw and heard, how did this movement occur? How did all the freedom of information get to you?
You want corporate media?
Every action deserves an equal and opposite reaction.
Whoa.
The corporations will read what they've sown.
Because you go beneath that, it's all based on a lie.
What's based on a lie?
The fractional reserve system, it's an absolute lie. Corporates are a person that's an absolute lie.
But
so anything you have to say
we're not disputing
is based on a lie.
Why not?
Yes, but you have to go beneath what you're saying, because what you're saying is moot.
No, how does it control you? How does it control you?
Monsanto.
How does it control?
Have fun, you guys. Have fun.
I'm
good,
bro. Corporation. How does it control you? It does. You just haven't woke up to realize
Roundup Ready corn, okay?
Why else would you be wearing a mask?
You're a teacher grabber for a bunch of subsidies for Roundup
Don't
Ready
discount
corn.
what she has to say.
Roundup Ready corn goes straight into cheap fast food.
The people are speaking, they spray. If they're speaking, they spray. There's already been outbreaks and other Occupy movements of TB and other diseases that are spreading. Anytime you get a group of people, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
That's just the nature of everybody.
Why are you down here?
Because we want the information. We want to understand why you're here. We're not going to listen to what's on the news at night. We're coming down here to listen to people. Because the thing is we believe that no corporate media, we don't believe anyone controls our information because we're free to walk wherever we want, talk to whoever we want, and get all the information we want. In the United States, we are not restricted from any information at any time. If we find ourselves, we choose to put ourselves inside a silo and hide away from the truth. That's our choice. But the thing is that we have freedom. Some people want to live in their candy little world.
No, I can understand you guys coming down. That's really cool and commendable. But I mean, covering yourself with masks and gloves.
No, it's
we don't want
personal issue. That's not devalue why they do that. They want to do that. Then that's.
You know,
that's your
if you really
opinion,
want to
dude.
talk about accountability, what about the guys that made money off of the disaster, the financial collapse? The people that actually bet against those mortgages? How about accountability for them?
Well, no, but the thing is that...
Well, no what?
Because
the taxpayer took the losses. You socialize the losses. You love socialism when it comes for us paying for their mistakes.
Yeah,
but then you take the gains when times are good. You take the money, and then when times are tough,
let me ask
everybody
you a question.
pays,
Let me
right?
ask you a question. What do you think the price of oil will be a year from now?
Well, the speculators will determine that. If you guys would tax speculation, maybe the price of oil would stay in check.
Think about peak oil. Do you guys know about peak oil?
Peak oil's already gone and done.
Great. So what is the price of oil going to be in a year from now?
But what does that have to do with what we
Because the thing is if you have $100 saving in a bank with hyperinflation that's coming down the pike, why wouldn't you invest it in oil? It's a guaranteed double your money in a year.
Dude, hyperinflation, like what happened to Chile in the early 70s under Pinochet?
Of course.
Oh, yeah. So you're familiar with that. You're familiar
I don't control it, but it will happen.
You're familiar with what the Chicago School of Economics has done to the world, then.
It's also what we choose to elect our people and not pay attention.
Well, wait a minute, but we don't even know. But how do you? $1 billion is going to be spent on this
election.
election.
They only have one vote.
Really? $1? Oh, but they can spend unlimited amounts of money to influence our elections.
How do we
spending
talk?
unlimited amounts of money to buy people
how much
and
did
to buy
Occupy
advertising?
How much did Occupy cost you to be here? You guys made all this happen with no money.
No money.
Our
no
little
money.
voices
You're here.
cannot
You
compete
took over
with
a
the
park.
amplifier that is unlimited funds on the other side.
You've been here
Thomas
overnight.
Jefferson
There has
said,
been alcohol
beware
and
of the
drugs
moneyed
and criminals
corporations,
all in this
because-
park, and you guys did this on no money. And the city and the country has let that happen. That is
You guys are
movement.
turning our system into a financial Texas swing.
No, it
Yes,
isn't.
And in that case,
Wait a minute.
it's
So you're
always
calling me a
the
drug
feudalists that win.
because I support this?
He who has the gold makes the rules,
But
right?
you have all the power.
Not
right
do unto
here.
others, not do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Everybody-
He who has the
everybody
gold makes the
is-
rules.
Wait. You've talked.
Let me tell you something about science,
And
okay?
everybody,
I like science.
when you
Okay, well, what is a colony? A colony is a populating
don't be sorry about
geographic.
being excited.
Okay?
You just all need to know.
Whatever you want to call this,
everybody has a chance
protest,
to speak what they
or
have to say.
movement, or any other thing. Call it good or bad, doesn't matter. It's a populating geographic. Okay? And there are logistic issues, and that's what's true. And these people are going to just vanish. Okay? And they are us. It's our society. And in fact, this is going to be the most polarized parts of our society. The most addicted people, the most
Thank you for
mentally ill.
taking the time to come
Okay?
down
We
here.
need to nurture
good. I
them. We
like to
can't
talk,
just
man.
brush them aside. Okay?
Thank you
Get
very much.
radical, Narcotics
talking about?
Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous.
So you can't just stamp them out now, can you? And they didn't get what they needed from society. Well, we need to work on ourselves. We are of a kind. So give us some space and some time to do that. And that's why I propose we go to Waterfront and set up a safe perimeter. The cops are going to help us to set up with a gate, okay, so that new people coming in can get a little 24-hour tag. And if they're okay, then they can chill with us. If not, they can go on their way. So that feels a little warmer and fuzzier, doesn't it?
That's a good idea.
And then we've got some time to work on ourselves and what we need to do to move forward.
It's not really a bad idea.
Yeah. Right, and we can get facility from the...
I like the idea of the vigil, like what you were saying. I do like the idea of a vigil because I don't think that this movement should be just smashed down and not be here, but I think that it should live, and I think that it needs to
evolve.
It needs to ascend.
Yes.
And it can do that, but it can't do that if like you said, if people are coming in here and not, and it's smearing the name of Occupy.
Go to work until
because I mean you got the cocktail thing happen, right?
Slow down.
It is evolving.
Look, but
as we speak,
I'm talking
it is evolving.
How does a colony proceed? Okay, to establish a colony, right? You build the great house for the people.
Sure.
They always do that every time, right? Because then you have a place to sleep. How can you work the next day if you're not rested? Okay, so
what about your daily bread?
You know, and now that makes sense. Okay, so you integrate and organize, and then you can address interconnecting. All right, all Occupy, so that we can never be divided, and so we can act as one.
That would be very wise, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can have one, no nation states.
And you're talking about them moving this like down for the
5 blocks,
waterfront,
it is, yeah.
And doing it like they do other festivities and whatnot.
Yes, but make it right this time. Instead of this ad hoc stuff. All right.
Okay.
A proactive approach. Okay. Pragmatic. We know what we're doing this time. We know what we need to do.
Sure.
Let's do it right. So that kind of idea.
Well, I think that's good, and I think Sam even made a good statement with that too, and saying that that Portland could be the movement that does generate something else.
Yes.
But right now, as it is, and I just like to state my piece here.
Sure.
What I'm seeing is other Occupy movements have turned violent. On Tuesday is really when the public violence, where it got news.
But don't you understand why?
Well, hold on. With the malt law,
it's called Molotov.
Molotov, thank you. I can't pronounce it.
Go on.
And so when that happening, that is violence. You can't say that it's not. And without having the barrier that you're talking about, without having people go through, then you can't really protect your group when you have other people coming in and then saying they're you and doing nefarious things.
Can I say something? People aren't used to the paradigm where there can be a collective of people who have a common ideology, but also have people be acting autonomously. And what we do here is we have the GA and the Spokes Council, where we can collectively put together what we have, but we're all autonomous agents. So if one person does one thing, that doesn't necessarily mean that represents the whole movement. And at the same time, that could just be a provocateur or a saboteur who someone sent in. Somebody could have sent that person in and just...
Meditation for 30 years.
Yeah, I can tell.
Writing for 30 years.
Yeah. How do you keep your peace in here? Is it do you find it...
I cannot be shaken up for that.
Well, I see there's moments for you, I have them too, where you get frustrated and you're like, okay, wait, but then you let other people go, and it's kind of hard to...
Well, when I notice that I have a charge, I look to establish a normalized state. I have my passion as one tool, yes. Yeah. All right, but so what we're talking about is basically the crap that we see. Okay?
Sure. Yeah.
And as we look at this is the unwanted condition, or conditions, okay? And when we poke at it or whatever, you look at it, examine it, it's still just as much poop as it was before. Okay?
Sure. Yeah.
So my point at that time becomes, it's not about this, okay? It's about where do you want to go and how do you want to get there.
Well, you can't have this without having that.
Well, like I said, we gave birth to a worldwide baby colony. We didn't know we were going to do that, but we have it now.
Well, see, this rose that developed, right? The rose that this movement started, that started to develop and grow, that was everyone was yeah, and hula hooping and fire dancing and peace club and all that good stuff, right? Right. So that continues, and that's all groovy, right? And everybody's like, woo!
Well, some are, but
okay. So we got this beautiful thing that started to develop, right? Well, that flower got smashed. And now it's got to turn back into compost, and you got to recultivate that flower again. You can't have this without having that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that's reciprocal mathematics, and that's what you're talking about. And so reciprocal mathematics looks like we have established now, I hope you'll agree, that collective authority exists. Okay, you do see us move together, that's collective authority. Hopefully benevolently, okay, but that's what that looks like. And so with collective authority comes individual accountability, and that's the learning, the growing up process that we all need to engage in, okay, and learn what accountability means, and integrity and congruence with what you know, all right, and boundaries and these kinds of fun things.
Right.
That's big girl and big boy stuff, you know, and it's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
But that's why I say we need to come together and school for a bit and work on our healing and nurture each other.
Sure. And I mean, that's really kind of difficult to do with, like, you know,
in this condition.
Yeah, you're right. So, but thank you and kudos to you, because like I see you making an effort to keep the mindfulness there, and I appreciate that.
What happened to my book? Uh-oh, that's